Hi, Gary here. In today's video, we're going to be talking about smart trading with Binance. Hi guys, welcome to the video. A lot of you have been asking me, do I trade crypto on traditional crypto exchanges? And the answer to that is yes. I do some scalping and some day trading. And my preferred exchange of choice is Binance. I know that they've had some issues over the years, but for whatever reason, it still tends to be my go-to exchange. I do use BitMEX as well, but I like the fact that I know where I stand with Binance. I know how it all works. I know the quirks, etc., etc. So Binance is what I tend to use. But I don't just use Binance. I mean, I could go and look at the depth and stuff like that on, for example, on this trade on BTC USDT tether, and you can kind of place small kind of snipey trades based on things like, is there a big buy wall, is there a big sell wall? Unfortunately, there's a lot of bots that kind of get involved with these exchanges, which can mean that these walls suddenly come up out of nowhere and disappear just as quickly to try and force the price in a direction. So it can be a little bit tricky to just, you see a low point, you see it starting to go up, you buy, you wait for it to go up, then you sell, or however you're doing it. So I tend to use a service which helps me to maximize my trades, and that is a service called 3COMMAS. Now, a number of you will probably know about this already. I'm not early to the party talking about 3COMMAS by any means, but it is one that I find to be very handy, very useful. I'll go over some of the features. This is just my standard trading pot I've got at the moment. I don't keep much of my crypto wallet, my crypto stash in an exchange. I keep it all on one of these bad boys. Get yourself a ledger if you haven't already. Keep it in a hardware wallet. Keep it cold stored. Keep it somewhere offline, so you're not going to get hacked. But I keep an amount in exchanges for me to trade on. So, like say for example, we have 1.14 Bitcoin in this particular account, which is linked to my Binance account. They do this through an API. Now, very importantly, some exchanges allow you to do withdrawals via API. I strongly recommend that you do not let that option be ticked whenever you're connecting any kind of service to an exchange via an API. API is an application program interface, and basically it means it allows you to automate functions on Binance through another service. If you leave your withdrawals enabled on an API, it means if someone gets into your 3COMMAS account, for example, or into any other service you've got it linked to, they can then action withdrawals. And we've seen that with the hack on Binance a while back. It seemed to be a lot of APIs were triggering. So Binance don't recommend it. They don't let it be on by default anymore. And I don't think that it should really be enabled at all. I think if you're withdrawing from an exchange to go somewhere else, you should be doing that manually. You shouldn't be doing that automatically anyway. So let's quickly go over the main features of 3COMMAS, and I'll show you how you can use it to your advantage. I'll talk about Smart Trade, the main thing, shortly, but they also have bots. And in the bots area, you've got a series of different bots that are already set up, pre-programmed and ready to go. And you can basically you can set how much profit you're looking to get in percent per day, and you can also filter by the number of days that it's been running. So you can say, I want something that's possibly something new. They're running at BTC PHB is running at about 4.95%. It's been running for 2 and a bit days, 24 deals. So you could make that a little bit more stable. You could go, I want something that's been running for at least a couple of weeks, and then you're getting down to something like BTC Link. I've got a current trade on that at the moment, actually. You can set the type of bot you're looking for: a simple, a composite, short, start conditions. They've got a number of different ways. I won't go into the technicalities of all of that, but there are a certain setups you can have for these bots, and you can choose which you want. You can also create your own bot. I'll just show you an example of a configuration for a bot. If you look at each bot. You can actually, if you wanted to set it up, what you'd do is you'd load this screen and then you'd hit copy, and that would create your own version of this particular bot. It tells you the exchange, the pair, the strategy, target profit in percentage, the start conditions of the deal, looking at trading view over 4 hours, RSI 15 minutes and RSI over 4 hours, base order size, safety order size. So you have safety orders, so you can have, for example, you buy at a certain point, it starts to go up, drops down below, and you have a safety order, which is like a stop loss, which will jump in to try to stop you from losing on that particular trade, and the size of the safety order can be there to kind of try and minimize those losses. And there's a number of different settings you can put on, so you could create your own bot if you were that way inclined and if you had a good technical understanding. But there's also the marketplace. Now the marketplace is quite intriguing, because what you can do is you can sign up through here for signal services. For example, this one is €10 per month, and you've got other ones. There's some free ones here as well: Moonship, Dynamic Grid, Cup and Handle, Crypto Boss, €10 a month, Koala Signals, Crypto Addicts. So you see, there's plenty of different options you can take, and if you click on View Stats, it will give you some information about trades being placed and results over a period of time. Some of them have got no data on, so there may be trades that are still running. But like I said, like this, you can go and have a look at these, see if there's anything that you'd like the look of. We could maybe go and have a look at a different one. Go to a more expensive one like Crypto Elite, €50 per month, and you can see trades within the last signals displayed with 1 hour delay, so they come in an hour after they've been actually put through. So you can't take advantage of them without actually being subscribed, but you can see 2%, 2%, 3%, 2%, 1%. There's some with no data. I assume that they're still ongoing trades or whatever else, but like I said, that's an option you can take if you're the kind of person that likes to follow signals. And if you are good at signals yourself, you could add your signals to the marketplace and become an external signaler if you were that way inclined. In your exchanges section, this is where you connect your exchanges. You can see I've got my Binance one here. There's a number you can go for: Bitfinex, BitMEX, Bitstamp, Bittrex, Sex, Ethereum Wallets, Gate.io, Coinbase Pro, HitBCC, Huobi, Kraken, KuCoin, OKEx, Plonex, and Yobit. So they've got a real good range of different exchanges depending on what your preferred one is. Like I say, I like Binance and I like BitMEX. They're my two favorites. Links in the description down below if you want to sign up for Binance or BitMEX, because that helps support the channel. You also have your portfolio, your subscription. Now 3COMMAS does cost. Sorry, yeah, it took me a while to find that. So you've got Starter, Advanced, and Pro. Some of the lower ones have limits on what you can do. Simple bot automatic trading, for example, isn't on the Starter. You can do it on the other ones. They've all got good access to portfolios and exchanges and copy and creating stuff. Notifications are all there for everything. So it's pretty much the level of kind of automation you want to have. Which depends on, it's the automatic trading which tends to change the price. But if you're paying monthly, the beginner will cost you $29 a month, the advanced at $49, and the pro at $99. 6 months it'll be even cheaper to do it that way. Or if you bought an annual subscription, you'd save yourself some money there as well. So that's the subscription plans. Obviously, you would need a subscription if you're looking at trading over a long period of time. I think that the free trial is only for a couple of days anyway. But what I want to talk to you about, and the main purpose of my video, sorry to waffle on, but I wanted to show a few of the features, is the smart trade. Sorry guys, my internet bombed out completely there, so it took me a little while to get that all sorted. But I was going to talk to you about the smart trades, which is the main focus of today's video. Let's, for example, go to USD Tether, Bitcoin, which we can see on the chart here. Now, for example, this is not a real world scenario. This is a live chart, but so for example, you'd seen a potential breakout, and you're looking back here when this was about to go, and you could have got in around about 8,060-ish, and then you would have thought you've seen the signs that it's going to go up. Not that that's necessarily a sign that's going to go up, but just as a hypothetical. So you get into 8,060, which is what you want to do, where you want to buy. You put in, you can either put in the exact amount of Bitcoin you were going to use to buy that, or whatever else, how many units of Bitcoin you were going to buy with that tether, or you could do a percentage of your available balance, from whatever currency you're going from and to. And then what you can do is you can do a take profit. There's a very simple way of doing it. You can do a take profit and a stop loss, and you could say 8,060 when it gets to, I don't know, 8,110 for example, which is a 0.62% increase. Or you could do it, actually go through and say I want a 2% increase before you sell, whatever else. But then you could also set your stop loss to say if it goes down by more than 3% from where it started, then you want to cut your losses and end the trade with a sell there. But what you can also do is you can use trails. Now, trails is what makes this quite often. Trailing buys in alpha, I'm not using trailing buy at the moment, but let me show you a trailing take profit, for example. If you were to set that at, say, I don't know, 1 or 2%, for example, what happens is you start off buying at this price here. It doesn't place another trade until you get close to here, and then it will place a sell trade normally. But if you have a trail on, what happens is it just looks to see when it hits this point, and then looks to see what's happening with the price deviation. Does it carry on going up past that, or is it starting to drop down below that threshold that you've set here? If it doesn't go back down by that threshold that you set here, and the price keeps climbing, it doesn't place the sell order. It keeps on climbing, it keeps on going until you get that deviation, and that's when the bot will then process a sell order, and you will sell and make your profit. So what you can do is you can have a fairly conservative, I don't know, maybe you did something like this. You went from, oops, that's a bit too much. You went from 80.60 to 80.80, which is only a 0.2% profit. But then it went to 80.80 and it shot up and it went to 81.50, for example. Well, what this would do by having trailing on was it means it wouldn't have sold at 80.80. It would have kept on going. There's a good example I can show you here. For example, you were to buy some ETH 104.50. The trailing take profit value would be 105. So you bought it there. It goes to 105 and it keeps on going. So you were looking to make a small profit there, but because it got there and then it corrected, but then carried on going back up there, so it didn't hit the threshold of deviation there. It went up to 105, 106, 107, 108, corrected at 107, but again didn't get past that deviation. Went up to a peak of 110. Started to drop up to 109, so it's still within deviation, and then it dropped to 108, and that's when your sell would have been closed at around about 108.8. So rather than making a small profit that you've set here, it's gone way past that particular target, and it's carried on climbing. It hasn't gone back down by that deviation percentage. It's carried on climbing. So rather than getting a very small return for your trade, you've happened to catch a good breakout and it's gone up and up and up, and you've made an awful lot more on your trade. You can see there's an example here. So you're buying here, this is where your target is. It doesn't deviate as it gets to here. It keeps on going. You'll see it come through on this GIF now. So you're waiting for the buy. The buy's triggered. You're waiting for your target sell price. That's met. And now you've got a 1% deviation there. It keeps on going. It doesn't hit that red line. It keeps going. Gets to the top. Eventually drops past the deviation line. So you're selling around about here rather than around about here. So that's, quite a big margin you're going to create on top. So that's the essentials of a smart trade. Now, what you can also have is a trailing stop loss, because at the moment you've got 80.60. Say you wanted to bail out if it got to 8,000, for example. but then your trading stop loss is turned on, what would happen is if it got down there but then started to go back up again around about that point, then the trading stop loss would mean it wouldn't sell until it gets to a point where it's going back down again. You know what I mean? So you've got a bounce rather than it hitting a hard stop and selling. It will go. It's getting down there, but it's fluttering about and it's gone back up a bit. So your stop loss would then trigger at a higher price, meaning your losses would be less if that trade happened to be a loser. So there's an awful lot of scope here. Trading buy means you could actually, if you wanted to buy at a certain price, I've not really used this, but from what I understand, again, you've set your buy order to 80.60, but the price tanks out just past that and it goes to, I don't know, say it went to 80.25 or whatever. Well, as long as you had that trading buy deviation, means it wouldn't buy it until it got to the lowest price and then started to go up by this deviation percentage. So that would mean you could then get into that trade at a much lower price, meaning your actual profits on the order would then be higher because you started at a lower price and then you're selling at a higher price, meaning the margin is bigger. So that's a very basic kind of run through of 3COMMAS and why I think it's a really good tool if you're trading on any of the major exchanges, Binance being the example I'm using purely because that's where I do most of my trading. If you want any more information about that, please email me and I'll be happy to give you some tips. This isn't a technical video. I'm not doing technical analysis. This is literally showing you examples of how it works. If you were going to trade with 3COMMAS, you could try their bots out. You could try and create your own bot. I've had a little bit of practice with a couple of the bots. I might do some more. Or if you've got the inclination and you like to follow signals, you could also use the marketplace there, connect to a signals provider and let it trade those signals for you. Which again may be something you want to do, but obviously do your research, figure out what it is you want to know, go to the marketplace, have a look. You can, like I say, you can go through their stats, you can see trades, you can reach out to these groups. I know that some of these groups are actually on Telegram and stuff as well, so you can have a look on there, speak to people, see what they're doing, and go from there. So that's all for the smart trading on Binance video. If you haven't already and you want to sign up for Binance or BitMEX, my links are down in the description below, and also for 3COMMAS. They are affiliate links, so you are supporting the channel if you use those links, should you so wish to. If not, by all means, go directly to Binance or 3COMMAS or BitMEX yourself. Right, if you've got any questions, you want to discuss this anymore, use the comments down below, use the contact details down below to get hold of me. Let me know if you want to see more of these type of videos, if you've got something you want me to review, if you've got something you want my opinion on, or whatever, just ask me down in the comments or get in touch with me and I'll be happy to help. If you haven't already, please also subscribe to the channel, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next one.